going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today we have some interesting news involving bank failures. A lot of you know a little bit about what might have happened with the first bank failure. You know about the big bank failure that everybody's been talking about. What you don't know is that another bank just failed. So this bank failure thing is kind of getting a little bit interesting, a little bit crazy. I'll keep you up on all the developments. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under the B1 condition. The B1 condition is that we are Black first. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. You don't have to hate anybody to love yourself. And so if you agree with this philosophy, put a B1 in the chat. Also, give me a yes if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I want to make sure my audio is coming through good because I am on the road. I'm in Los Angeles. We just finished the Black Wealth Boot Camp. I'm going to be flying home tomorrow. And we did a deep dive training this weekend on my new book called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, which, by the way, is a #1 bestseller on Amazon in the public finance category. So thank you for your support. So first off, let me ask you this. Let's do a yes or no real quick. How many of you heard about the failure of Silicon Valley Bank? How many of you have been following this? We're a little bit disturbed. We're paying attention to what was going on. Give me a yes in the chat if you've been following the failure of Silicon Valley Bank and what happened with that. We discussed that earlier on the podcast. I went into deep dive with that on drboycetv.com. So you can go back and check that out if you missed that conversation. I'm going to catch everybody up in case you missed it. I think this is important. You want to pay attention to this kind of thing because it tells you what direction the economy is going. Okay, so a lot of you have been following the failure of Silicon Valley Bank. All right, so the conversation with Silicon Valley Bank was, what do they do? Okay, I told you all during the conversation earlier that the biggest problem that the federal government has right now, the biggest problem that the financial system has right now is this big beast of a wealth killer called fear. Fear was the #1 problem, the #1 challenge of the financial system earlier today or all weekend long, actually. And I mentioned to you all that in my view, in my opinion, in my expectation, the first thing that the federal government was going to try to do was eliminate fear from the equation. They were trying to get fear out of the economic system. And so I said that at some point this weekend, before the markets open on Monday, they're most likely going to try to issue some sort of statement that will be designed to reinstill confidence in the economic system, right? And that's pretty much what they did. The only question was, do they bail out the bank or do they bail out the depositors? I was thinking they're going to bail out the depositors because these are not normal depositors. Silicon Valley Bank did not have regular people in this bank. Silicon Valley Bank was in this place called, Silicon Valley. And in Silicon Valley, you're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars being deposited in this bank. All these powerful startups connected to very powerful venture capitalists, very powerful multi-billionaires that really have a lot of say in terms of how money goes. America is a really corrupt country in terms of who they choose to bail out, how they selectively decide what to do with their money. Because remember, even during the mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008, they could have bailed out American consumers. They could have bailed out people that were trying to pay their mortgages, but instead they bailed out Wall Street. Well, in this case, instead of bailing out Silicon Valley Bank, which has very bad, it looks very bad aesthetically. It just doesn't, it's not a good look. They said, okay, let's just bail out the depositors so we look like we're helping the common guy, when really they're not helping the common guy. They're helping these multi-billion dollar startups. So let's just be clear about that. So they went and did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They went and bailed out Silicon Valley Bank depositors, not the bank itself. And so they're going to get all their money back. That's great. They're now relaxed. They're not freaking out. They can make payroll, which is good for the economy on a high level. But then here's the thing. You cannot assume that the danger is over. You cannot assume that everything's safe and everything's good. They want you to believe that, but that's just not true from where I'm standing. And in fact, a piece of that evidence is that there was another bank failure that happened just today. They said here, I'm going to read, this is on Fox Business. They said that federal regulators on Sunday said that New York-based Signature Bank was being shut down to protect consumers and the financial system following the collapse of California's Silicon Valley Bank. The announcement came in a joint statement from the Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and the FDIC. Regulators said the Silicon Valley Bank clients will have access to their money starting Monday at no expense to the American taxpayer. Yeah, right. How many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of y'all really believe that the American taxpayer isn't paying whenever we bail out millionaires. Like, how many of y'all think they're really going to do this without it being at any expense to the American taxpayer? If you believe that, I want to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. I got three of them. You can buy three. I give you three for the price of one. Like, how many of y'all really believe that the American taxpayer is going to be unaffected by their decision to bail out a bunch of millionaires? That money's got to come from somewhere. And let me just say this, and I hate to break it to you. I hate to break bad news to you, but it is going to cost the American taxpayer because they get their money from us. We know these things. Okay, so they said that let's see. All depositors of this institution will be made whole. The joint statement read, as with the resolution for Silicon Valley Bank, no losses will be borne by the taxpayer. Signature Bank was closed Sunday by its state chartering authority. Founded in 2001, the New York-based Signature Bank was popular among crypto companies. So now there's kind of becoming this fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD, as they call it, on the crypto space because this Signature Bank is known for being connected to crypto investors, as was there's another bank. Oh my gosh, Silvergate Capital. Silvergate Capital was connected to crypto, and they also went south. They said founded in 2001, they're popular among crypto companies. The institution provided deposit services for its clients' digital assets, but did not make loans collateralized by them. Okay, that's good. Leading up to SVB's collapse, the bank, Signature Bank, said it had been trying to reduce these deposits. As recently as Thursday, Signature said it was in a quote well-diversified financial position and had limited quote limited digital asset related deposit balances in the wake of industry developments. Well, apparently that wasn't really the case because now they're being shut down. So they said we want to make it clear the Signature Bank is a well-diversified, full-service commercial bank with more than 2 decades of history and solid performance. This is what banks do. Again, remember I told you fear is the big gorilla in the room. Fear is the thing you're trying to avoid. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying here. So fear is what they're trying to avoid. So what they're basically doing is they're trying to instill confidence in their depositors and in their backers to say, we ain't had nothing to do with it. We're not connected. That's not my cousin. I promise you, whatever they got, we don't have it, right? So they're trying to say that they're not affected by this financial contagion. So Signature Bank was notable for having former Democratic Congressman Bernie Frank on its board. I mean, you even have Barney Frank, who was one of the head people in terms of putting together what they call the Dodd-Frank Act, which actually was created in 2008 to regulate the banking industry. So they literally had Barney Frank, sorry, the creator of the Dodd-Frank Act, which is one of the most exhaustive and unbelievably burdensome pieces of legislation ever created in the banking industry, on their board, and they still went south. And so they said under that law, banks with assets in excess of 50 billion were deemed as being potentially too big to fail and were therefore subject to a host of rigorous testing and regulation. In 2018, Trump signed the Economic Growth Recovery Regulatory Relief and Protection Act, which rolled back key regulations with Dodd Frank, blah 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 blah. But anyway, what the gist of this article is saying is that Signature Bank has now been shut down by regulators. The feds have taken over their assets. Let's see here. And they're also the stock. What's interesting though is that the stock market right now, the futures market is looking really good. If you're a stock market investor and you held onto your stocks over the weekend, you're going to probably, at least according to what I'm seeing so far, there's a very good chance you're going to have a good day tomorrow because you're going to start seeing a bump in the value of your assets. I know some of you who are in the Prime program where we sell stock options and stuff like that, you're probably crying a little bit because toward the end, this was just a brutal week, especially for those who invest in tech companies. Let me just say this. If you are an investor in tech companies and you see this little bump, I would consider, I'm not telling you what to do, this is not investment advice, but I would consider getting some put options in place to protect yourself from the downside because you might have a sunny day tomorrow, but I cannot predict that the rest of the week is going to be sunny. I think that there is an elephant in the room. I think that there is a shoe that is going to drop. I think there's something lurking in this economic system, and you're starting to see cracks in the system. It doesn't mean the world's coming to an end. So don't go by all these conspiracy theories. Oh my God, the Rothschilds are starting a new world order, and they're going to make the dollar worthless. And I'm not making fun of you if you're in that space. But don't be overly alarmist. Just look at what's there, right? So what's here is that the Federal Reserve has been increasing interest rates consistently over the last year or so, and it's been really fast. It's record-breaking, breakneck speed. So people are sitting around waiting, like, okay, any minute now, something bad's going to happen. Something's going to crack. Something's going to make you nervous. And now that something has appeared. And here's the other thing too. When I look at anything, I don't look at what I see on the surface. I look at what's beneath the surface. If I see one roach in my kitchen, I'm not looking at the roach that I just found. I'm trying to find the other 3,000 roaches that are hiding in the nest that I did not find, right? So ultimately there's a roach in the kitchen, which was the failure of Silicon Valley Bank. There's another roach that crawled out behind him. We killed the first roach. The second roach came out. Well, guess what? There's a whole nest of roaches underneath the refrigerator. So do not think that your house is roach free just because you killed 2 roaches. Do you understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes if my weird analogies make sense to you. So the fact that they had to kind of save one bank, they got another one that's being taken over by the feds. Don't tell me. I would bet every nickel in my bank account, and I got a couple of nickels in my bank account. I would bet every single nickel that there are other major possible calamities sitting in the dark corner that you don't see. There is something underneath the surface that they are stopping. They're literally sitting around saying, oh my God, if this gets out to the public, it's going to destroy financial markets. We got to cover this up. We got to shut this down. We got to make sure it doesn't get out. Just know it's there. I can smell it. I can feel it. My spidey senses are picking up on it. And a lot of it has to do with the Federal Reserve's rate hikes. Now, why could this be good news for you? Well, if you're a good investor and you're patient and you don't let this stuff freak you out, well, I think that what's going to happen is they're going to the Fed is going to possibly, no guarantees here. I wouldn't be surprised if they slow down their rate hikes. If they say, okay, you know what? Okay, we were going a little bit too fast, a little bit too hard. We got to go ahead and just kind of slow it down. That's good for your stocks. That's going to boost your stocks. And then also they may actually implement a rate decline, which would be massive for your stocks. Big challenge, though, is that inflation is still not completely under control. The inflation problem was easily predictable. Most experts, including myself, were predicting massive inflation as a result of their irresponsible financial moves during the pandemic. Now you're paying the price for that. I don't know if inflation is yet back in the bag. That's going to be the big concern. And really that scary word I've mentioned to you all before called stagflation, where you have inflation and a stagnant economy at the same time. That's still on the table. That's still a possibility. So just be careful. Diversify your money. Don't put all your money in one place. These bank failures and whatever. One thing it reminds you of is one of the most important rules I've told you all about investing. We talked about this weekend at the boot camp as well. Is you got to spread your money out. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if that basket breaks, then you're done. So that's it. That's my 2 cents on the issue. I don't think you should over panic. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm gonna keep reading up on this and going through all kinds of research and seeing what's going on. And what I find out, I'll let you know. So I know those of you who are in the stock market investing class, we'll be meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. So feel free to not tomorrow. I'm sorry, Tuesday. Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow's on Tuesday, boys. So get it right. All right. So I will see you on Tuesday morning. And also, if you want to take a look at my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, it is on Amazon. It is also at my website, boycewatkins.com. There's also a really good training called How to Make Money Without Working. So feel free to go take a look. And somebody said, you are panicked. I'm not panicked, but I am aware. I am financially conscious. So I'm not freaking out, but I am very aware of what's happening with my money, because financial consciousness is the first step toward making money. It's also the first step toward protecting your money. So you got to be aware. It doesn't mean you freak out. Freaking out does not help you, but you want to be aware so you can make the moves that you need to make. So God bless you. Have a good night. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. My website's boycewatkins.com. Feel free to check it out if you want to see some of our financial resources for you and your family. Take care, guys. Love you. See you soon. Peace.